approving or rejecting 0.25% sales tax to improve public safety. With the sales tax currently at 7.725%, this small increase will generate about $2.8 million. This money will be used for officers.
We are falling behind the times with regards to recruitment and retention. We're short on the road with officers, and we're losing the applicants that we used to have. We're also losing senior officers to other agencies.
Jefferson City Firefighters Local 671 President James Noah says salary progression issues are also hurting their retention rates.
We used to utilize a 2-year list for hiring process. Now we're doing that as a year list.
With some citizens concerned about the tax increase, Ambler says a decrease is coming in public safety tax at the county level.
In April of 22, when this sales tax funds begin to be collected, there is 1/8 of a cent falling off of the Cole County law enforcement tax.
With the possible increase in the Jefferson City tax and the decrease in Cole County, that would mean that Cole County citizens would only see 1/8 of a cent increase, which comes out to about 12.5 cents for every $100.
All right, welcome to One Nation, a Sports Soccer Magazine Extra, and we've got a great program tonight. There's some important things that are going on here in Jefferson City, and tomorrow we have a vote. So we've got a special guest with us tonight to talk a little bit about that, and then also we're going to talk about some really cool stuff that's been happening with local sports. And Jay's pretty excited to share a lot of that stuff with you here later on in the program. So I'm going to go ahead and bring him on, and we're going to get this party started, as he would say. Hey, how's it going?
Hey, what's up, Dad? That's exactly what I would say. It is time to get the party started.
I
love when you are starting to, catch on to some of my phrases,
That's right.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
And feel free anytime just to say, you just watch your mouth, and I will. Okay?
Yeah, that would be one of your catchphrases. Sir.
Yeah, that's mine. So
you better just watch your mouth.
That's right. So you had a lot of parties going on yourself this weekend, right?
Oh, we had a wonderful weekend. It's beautiful weather out here in Montrose, Colorado. I know a couple years ago it was about 10 degrees for Halloween. So this year it was in the 60s, and oh man, we were loving that. We had pumpkin carving party, did a bunch of trick-or-treating, some trunk or treats. It was an absolute great time. Your grandkids were very happy. They got a lot of candy.
Yeah, speaking of pumpkins, I mean, I saw some photos of some pumpkins that were almost as big as your vehicles. What's the deal with, or actually as big as my vehicles, so.
The Sports Locker Mini Cooper might have been weighed down a little bit, but that was just a blessing from Honey Acre Farms, and so they grow some awesome pumpkins.
I mean, how big were those things? I mean, it was crazy.
Oh, they were heavy. They were almost 100 pounds. It was awesome.
Well, it's absolutely. When it's $5 and it's that big, you could take it and go.
Absolutely. So my kids, the bigger the better. So that they were all over that deal. So that was awesome. But tonight, man, I have been super excited. We've got an awesome member of Jefferson City coming on with us tonight, and that's Mr. Donnell Rehagen. He went to the Missouri State University, where he got his Bachelor's of Science in Computer Information Systems. He then went on to the University of Missouri Columbia, where he got his master's degree in public administration. I mean, that just sounds so cool to say. I'm just, got my, master's degree in public administration. I was reading that and was like, yeah, you're awesome, Donnell.
Yeah.
I'm just going to tell you that right now. Maybe if you haven't heard that yet today, I'm going to tell you, you're awesome. He spent 11 years with the Missouri Department of Transportation. In 2004, he joined the National Biodiesel Board, where he was the Chief Operating Officer for 12 years. You know what he's done for the last 5 years, folks? He's the CEO of the National Biodiesel Board. So we're excited to get him on tonight's program, discuss some of the initiatives coming up and what's going on in his world. So, Dad, I'm ready to talk to Mr. Donnell Rehagen. Mr. Donnell Rehagen, how about you?
Yeah, I am too. I mean, I know you got some questions for him, so let's go ahead and bring him on.
Let's do it.
Hey, Donnell, how you doing?
Hey, I'm great, gentlemen. Hey, Jay, before you get started, I want to let you know my computer degree was from the 1980s, so I actually don't know anything about these computers anymore. So,
Hey, I wasn't going to throw out any dates. That was not my goal, but I'm sitting here like, hey, he was working on computers before Bill Gates. So I'll tell you what, he knows what he's doing. He had probably helped invent the internet, Mr. Donnell Rehagen.
That's awesome.
Well,
See,
hey,
he makes fun of
Donnell,
my age. He makes fun of my age too. I don't know what the deal is. It's these younger kids. I don't know.
well, I got an IT
oh,
guy on staff here that can vouch for the fact that I don't really know much about these computers nowadays.
oh, the technology nowadays, it changes every year. I'm pretty sure you just have to keep going back to school. We have some IT guys at my company, and I love them. They're so invaluable, and they know it, and they know it. Hey Donnell, we love. Thanks for being on the show tonight. Love to have you here. I'd love if you could just first tell us a little bit about what you do, about you and what you do for a living.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Born and raised here in Jefferson City, Missouri, believe it or not. So been here a long time. You can tell by the gray hair up there. I've been here a long time. Married my high school sweetheart, and so we've raised 4 kids here in Jefferson City. I now have 3 grandsons that live here as well, and so it's a very important community for me. We've got both of us have our extended families here, so there's aunts and uncles and grandparents and great grandparents, and believe it or not, my wife's 103-year-old grandmother is still living here in Jefferson City. So there's 5 generations on that side of the family. So that was important to us. So again, we love this community. And as you mentioned, I work here for the National Biodiesel Board. We're a national trade association headquartered here in Jefferson City. Long story about how a national trade association ends up in Jefferson City, Missouri. But we've been at it here for over 30 years in Jefferson City, and we have member companies from all around the country who are trying to make cleaner and better transportation fuels for all of us to use.
Yeah, that's really cool. When I was reading about that, I'm like, the National Biodiesel Board, like that just sounds super unique to me. When you did that transition from MoDOT to them, like what did that look like? Was it just an awesome opportunity for you? Whoa, how did you get plugged into them?
Yeah, it was interesting. It's just how things are. Sometimes the stars and moon line up and those sorts of things. But whenever I was at MoDOT, they have a very significant, still due to this day, very significant diesel fleet: tractors, trucks, motor graders, you name it. Most of their equipment actually is powered by diesel. And so while I was their fleet director in charge of all of their entire fleet, one of the things we were trying to do, and this would have been just in the early 2000s, so maybe around 2000, 2001, was to try to green the fleet. And those activities are still going on today, right? Here we are in this country talking about low carbon fuels, but this was almost 20 years ago now, trying to green that fleet. Biodiesel was recommended as something that we should look at. And so I did not know a thing about biodiesel. A lot about fuel because we acquired the fuel for the whole entire department. But I knew a lot about fuel, but didn't know anything about biodiesel. So at that time, I Googled biodiesel to try to learn a little bit more. Believe it or not, I found out the National Biodiesel Board, the national trade association for that industry, was located about 2 miles from my office, right here in Jefferson City. And didn't even know it. By that time, they'd been here for 15 years. And so I called them up, and we started a dialogue about how we can help each other out, and they can help me learn more and provide this cleaner fuel out into that fleet. And a couple years later, I got a phone call from them asking if I'd be interested in joining them in a different role. And so it's been a fun ride ever since.
That's great, and you guys are involved tremendously in our community and throughout mid-Missouri, all throughout Missouri, all throughout the nation, obviously. But um, you personally are involved in a lot of things here in Jefferson City, and we want to talk a little bit about the Jefferson City Public Safety Commission or Committee, and why was that organized?
Yeah, there was a group of business leaders, that we're always trying to figure out how to make the community a better place to be. And so one of the things that was cropping up was the concern about police and fire protection. It's getting to be tougher and tougher. We're all seeing the challenges of hiring people, retaining people. And so we began to explore that with the help of the fire and the police officers. And one of the things that kept coming up was there's just a challenge again in acquiring and retaining, particularly retaining police officers. And so got to exploring that a little bit more. And really one of the key issues is competitive wages, competitive benefits, as well as just the needed necessities and equipment that it takes to keep officers and firefighters, well equipped. And so in sitting down and talking to the city about it, as always, it becomes a revenue issue. So if the money is there's more things that can be done. And so that committee was formed to explore what you're finding now is a ballot issue on the ballot tomorrow here in Jefferson City to increase the Jefferson City sales tax to try to provide more revenue for public safety.
All right, so talking about that ballot initiative and why is it important for people to get out there and vote?
Yeah, really important. I think what we see, we see it on the news all the time now, particularly how tough it is to be a police officer, particularly. A lot of people are not that supportive of the police like they used to be. But not only that, it's just a very, very difficult environment to work in. And so the ballot issue tomorrow will ask citizens to consider voting yes, and I would encourage them to do so, the citizens of Jefferson City, to vote yes to increase the Jefferson City sales tax by 1/4 of a cent. So for the average household in Jefferson City, that's somewhere maybe around $40 a year. And so with that money, that increase, we'll be able to make sure we have a salary schedule and equipment and such that will help us to attract, retain, a well-staffed, well-equipped police and fire department. I think is something that all of us can value. And any community that's going to succeed and grow is going to be on the basis of providing a safe environment for everybody to live.
Well, we all know that we need that, and so we appreciate your work as well as the committee members that are a part of this with you. We'll talk a little bit about that a little bit later. Maybe you can give a shout out to some of them and do a final plug for the initiative. And but in the meantime, I guess what we ought to do is we ought to go ahead and take our first break, and we'll come back, and then we're going to talk a little bit of local sports. You see Jay over there; he's kind of excited. He wants to talk about some local sports too. So we'll go ahead and do that. But first, we'll go ahead and bring on our first sponsor, which is C&S Business Services.
Do you wish you could work from home? You can. If you work better in your PJs, it works for us at CNS Business Services. We're adapting to the way people want to work. We've established new, innovative ways of flexible staffing, including work from home. Right now, we have remote job opportunities for those who enjoy customer service. If you're looking for employment options that fit your lifestyle, call CNS Business Services or apply online at cs-business.com.
Say yes to CNS.
Well, Paula Benny and her team at CNS Business Services, fantastic job. They just do a great job here in mid-Missouri, and we appreciate them and their sponsorship of the program. To be able to let Jay passionately talk about stuff that he wants to talk about. Right, Jay?
Oh, man. Absolutely, Dad. And I'm excited. I'm just waiting for the go-ahead.
Well, we had some great information from Donnell, and I've got a lot more we want to ask him, but we're going to give you just a few moments to go ahead and tell us what is happening in the wide world of sports right here in mid-Missouri.
Awesome, and I'm happy to do it. Man, it was a wild weekend in local sports in Jefferson City, Missouri. First up, I'm going to talk about cross country, and I tell you what, every time I interview a cross country kid, I'm always like, why? Why do you like to run? that's one of the worst parts about sports for me, and I love sports. The running of it. Like, I get it. Like, I love playing basketball. I hate the running. I love playing football. I hate the running. Like, I get it, but it's just in quick, speed bursts, during this. This is constantly from start to finish. You just run.
Mhm.
I'm like, why? And I have so much respect for kids that run cross country. It blows my mind, the amount of endurance and the ability that they have to just keep going. And it's every time I talk to some of these kids, they talk about the mental aspect of cross country, and that there are strategies of actually walking the course before the actual race, and they walk the course and find out where's the peaks, where's the value of valleys, where can they take advantage of some quick speed bursts. And I'm like, that's really cool. And so I had a really good time sitting down with several students, and then I got to read their names this weekend and see that they competed and did super well. So yeah, I'm absolutely so proud of our cross country teams here in the mid Missouri area. But yeah, let's go into it. The the Lynn Wildcats claimed their first district championship since 2012. Um, so they claimed the Class 2 District 3 boys title on Saturday at the Lynn Athletic Complex. So the Wildcats team claimed team honors with 105 points. Mark Twain came in second, followed by Calvary Lutheran in third and Russellville in fourth. So right there are three teams that we feature in our magazine, and they were all in the top four. So very proud of them. That was awesome. In New Bloomfield, this is someone who's been in the magazine. This is Nathan Heinrichs. He won the district title. This was his second straight individual district title. He won that on Saturday in the Class 2 District 3 meet at that Lynn Athletic Complex. So very big shout out to Mr. Nathan Heinrichs. This is why you guys need to read the magazine. You can read about these kids and then get even more excited like I do. They're celebrities, man. I love it. I just love it.
Hey Jay,
And
real quick.
yeah,
I mean, he ran that in like 17 minutes and 9 seconds.
I know. He finished 25.7 seconds faster than the person who came in second. 25.7 seconds.
That's
That's
3 miles.
impressive.
That's 3 miles.
Dude, the first mile I would have got maybe in 17 minutes and 9 seconds. Maybe. We'll see. I'm like that turtle. I sleep along the way. So, oh, not good. Another crazy good performance was Zoe Martanfi, and that is from Eldon Girls. She clocked a first place time of 19 minutes and 58 seconds. She beat her next closest competitor by 41 seconds. And so shout out to Eldon on that one. Real quick for cross country, Calvary Lutheran boys and girls are, both of them, boys and the girls, are advancing to state. The Blair Oaks boys placed second, and they're advancing to state. Jefferson City Jays are sending 3 kids to state. Capital City are advancing 4 to state, and Helias Crusaders qualified 6 for state. So
That's
I
great.
just shout out to all the cross country teams out there. They ran their hearts out, and that was fun.
That's great.
Um, let's see. I want to dive into football. Boy, football. So Jefferson City, the Jays and the Helias Crusaders both had a bye week in football, and so they will be playing coming up in this upcoming weekend. The Capital City Cavaliers, they played the Washington Blue Jays. They lost 35-8. So the Capital City Cavaliers, they're out. But I wanted the team that played and had a tremendous game. That was the Blair Oaks Falcons. That defense has not had a lot of respect this season. After they held Maryville to 6 points and Knob Noster to 16 points to start the season, over the next 7 weeks, they averaged of what they allowed was 37.4 points. They allowed a lot of points over those final 7 weeks. They opened postseason play with its best defensive effort of the season. They won the game 53-0. It was a shutout. The Blair Oaks defense shut out the opposing team. So that was just awesome. Reading that really fired me up. They only allowed a total of 98 yards offensively in that entire game. So
Sounds like the
shout
Chiefs.
out to
Sounds like the Chiefs on the receiving end against the Titans. Yeah, that's great.
that's exactly what it was. But good news for us, the Falcons are on our side. So yeah,
Yes,
they
that's
they
right.
had a wonderful game to start off, and so they're going to continue on in postseason play, and I'm excited to follow the Blair Oaks Falcons. They're a fun team to watch. I'll tell you that.
There's a lot going on at Blair Oaks, isn't there?
There is so much going on at Blair Oaks. Speaking of, they advanced in the Class 3 volleyball Final Four. They are going to the Final Four, baby. So after the game, head coach Megan Disler was doing all she could to fight back tears Saturday afternoon. They were tears of joy. In just her second season as head coach, Disler first guided the Lady Falcons to their first district championship in 11 years, and then to their first state quarterfinal appearance in program history. So now Blair Oaks is going to the Final Four as the Lady Falcons continued this epic postseason run. They did that win against the John Burroughs Bombers in the Class 3 quarterfinals. They did that at the Blair Oaks High School. Final shout out in volleyball, Jefferson City did fall to Logan Rogersville in the quarterfinals. So Jefferson City is out, but they put up an amazing season. So I'll be excited to keep following Blair Oaks in volleyball. I'll be excited to keep following them in football. And in case, I guess I don't have to follow them anymore when it comes to softball, because they just won the state title. Blair Oaks just won the state title. Oh my gosh, baby. I just have to give a little bit of the story on this. This was an amazing game. And so I just want to read this. This was from the News Tribune this morning, and it really got me fired up. Andy Siebenik was the show for Blair Oaks softball at the Class 3 Final Four, but a surprise late cameo appearance proved decisive. Senior Macy Ernst, who hadn't started either Final Four game at the Killian softball complex, got called off the bench to pinch hit for the biggest moment of the Ladies Falcons season. After a one-run lead evaporated in the top of the seventh, Ernst came up with bases loaded. Bottom of the seventh. This is the chance to win the game. Many people would have been very aggressive going into this batting, but Ernst used all the patience that she could muster. Coach Sharon Bush-Jones basically said, it's just an at-bat. It's like any other time. There's no pressure.
Yeah, right.
Ernst said, that didn't really resonate with me because there was a ton of pressure.
That's right.
I just wanted to hit the ball so hard, and I just never got my pitch. She worked it quickly, a 3-1 count, and then she checked her swing again using as much restraint as possible for the umpire to rule that she did not swing on ball 4. After a moment of silence, everyone realized the game was over. They walked her. The final run came in, and the Falcons won 3-2. They are the state champions. I'm like, that's awesome. That's awesome. Make them pitch to you. Way to show restraint, though. I mean, because you get put in that situation, I'm going to be swinging for the fences.
Absolutely.
Call me Mark McGuire. Call me Barry Bonds. I'm swinging hard, baby. But that's just awesome. That got me excited again when I was reading that this morning. So shout out to Blair Oaks. They're having some fun this season.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
Now, Donnell, I mean, Jay was talking about Coach Bustos was saying that, no pressure. I mean, come on, we know, right? I mean, you got to try to convince. You used to coach. Tell us how something like that would happen.
Yeah, I did, and that sounds exactly like what a coach would say, and the athlete said exactly what most of those athletes are thinking. Yeah, coach, I'll bet. That is a pretty high pressure situation, much less coming off the bench for that. I mean, that's a whole other story. That's getting thrown into the fire, and she came out on the good end of that. So
Right at
congrats
the
to
end
her
of
and
the
congrats
game.
to
That's
the team.
amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
very, very good. So, uh, Jay, you got any more things that you want to talk about locally, or that pretty
That's
much?
all the highlight sports I have. But yeah, I'm so proud of everyone. I'm proud of all of these athletes. It was fun getting to read, like, even on the Capital City Cavaliers. Ben Lair, his name got thrown out. He's one of the ones going, and we just got done interviewing him,
Hmm.
last month. So it's really fun when you get to sit down with these students
Yeah.
and talk with them and hear about all the trials and struggles that they're going through, and then you get to read their name in the paper. I'm telling you, it's like I'm reading celebrity names. I just get fired up and I get super excited. So yeah, I'm super proud of all these kids. Y'all made us proud, I'll tell you that.
That's great. Uh, hey, we want to ask Donnell here in just a moment. We'll do our other sponsorship break here real quick. Looks like Deacon's not going to be able to make it in for his little video, so you're going to have to show him your commercial with him in there.
Hold on here.
Hold
Deacon, are
on.
you home? He's on his way.
He's on his way. All right. We'll bring him on real quick.
Come here. No, perk up. You're going on show, buddy. Come here. You got to get your earpiece in.
Tired.
You're tired.
You're live on Facebook right now.
Hey,
Come here.
you're live. Let's see, buddy.
You're live on Facebook.
Hey, happy birthday. How you doing, buddy?
Good.
How old are you today?
Happy birthday.
You're 6?
Show the camera. There it is.
Yeah.
6. It's on there.
Did you tell Donnell thank you for saying happy birthday?
Thank you for
All right. Well,
Happy birthday, buddy.
one of the reasons we wanted to bring him on, well, his great aunt Jackie, she just said happy birthday. So you remember her, don't you, buddy? All right. Good. So we've got a special commercial that has you in it, Deacon. We know you haven't seen it yet, so we want to make sure that you get to see this, okay? All right, we're going to do that, and then we'll be right back in just a moment.
Deacon Ryder Gill, you just lost your first tooth. Now where do you want to go?
to the dairy barn to get ice cream.
I will have moose tracks with chocolate syrup, whipped cream, and cherries.
One scoop or 2 scoops?
One scoop.
What can I see?
Thank you, Dairy Barn Ice Cream.
Thank you, dairy barn.
Well, I made it here, Delton. I'm here at the Dairy Barn, and I'm going to have me some of your ice cream. Here we go. I did not get here quick enough. This is so good. Oh, if you haven't been out here yet, get out here. This is some good ice cream.
All right, there you go. Good job, buddy. What do you think? That's pretty cool. All right.
Good job, buddy.
You did a good job.
All
Well,
right.
thanks for popping on here. Love you, buddy.
All right, I'll take my earpiece. Happy birthday, buddy. I'll see you in a minute.
All right, that was great.
That's a fun age right there, man.
Yeah, missing that little
is.
tooth right there. Yeah, that's where you got to have some ice cream. That's good. Hey, Donnell, I mean, again, we talked about just the different things that you're involved in. Tell us a little bit about some of the stuff that you're involved in with Lincoln University.
Yeah, so business leader here in the community, and Lincoln University is so important to the community, and I think many times it gets to some degree overlooked. And so a number of years ago, I got involved with the Booster Club there at Lincoln, and it's very reasonable and it's a lot of fun. They particularly have a lot of fun at the football games and basketball games, and it's just showing our support as a community for Lincoln and the students that are there. They mean so much to the local business community, the economy. Lincoln is just it's to me it's a hub, of the business community here in Jefferson City, and so I would encourage any of the other business leaders out there to and just anybody to get involved with Lincoln to try to give them a hand up and help them out. The sports are really fun. I particularly enjoy their basketball games, and that's coming up here this fall. I'm a basketball guy. I was a basketball coach, so I love it. If you haven't been to Jason Gym for a basketball game, you need to do that this fall. It's going to be a great time. And again, consider joining that booster club.
Absolutely, and you enjoy watching basketball. Coach Mosley, when he was doing that, now he's doing a different job. But I mean, he put some excitement into that program, and we were so fortunate to have him as a part of that, as well as athletic director. But now he's taken on a new role as interim president of Lincoln University, and I mean, what a fantastic job he's doing, right?
Yeah, he's doing a great job, and crossing my fingers that the board there sees fit to just keep him in that role. He's such a great supporter of this community, and I think it is kind of a conduit between the business community, the community at large, and Lincoln University and Lincoln sports. So to me, it's just a great fit. He's a wonderful gentleman, a great man, a great man of faith as well. And so I think we have a lot to be proud of with him, and I'm proud of him, and he's great.
Yeah. Fantastic man, fantastic job. So, we've flown through this interview, and you've done a fantastic job. But I want you to kind of finish it out by telling us a little bit more, one more time about the ballot initiative, and again, what people need to do.
Yeah, that ballot initiative, it's the only thing on the ballot tomorrow. Proposition 2, and it's for JC Public Safety. And so again, it's a quarter of a cent, so it's a very small amount in the scheme of things. Maybe it's $40 a year is what the city is guessing that would be for the average household here in Jefferson City to support that. It will generate about $2.8 million a year, which would make a huge difference for the police and fire departments. So again, those funds are earmarked for public safety. They're not going to be dispersed among the rest of the general fund. They will be held for the purposes of public safety. So it'll be increasing the city's investment in police officers, firefighters, all the equipment that they need. The police, hopefully out of this, with the success tomorrow at the ballot, will start being able to obtain body cameras, which is a very important thing. We're one of the handful, maybe 4 communities of our size in the whole entire state of Missouri that the police officers do not have body cams. And so it's a little challenging. It's a huge investment, but public safety, I think, is, as I said earlier, is kind of the core of any successful and growing, prospering community. And so I'd encourage everybody to head out to the polls tomorrow morning. They open at 6 o'clock. They'll be open until 7 tomorrow night, and to vote yes on Proposition 2.
That's excellent. Can you do a quick shout out as far as the other committee members with you and just some of the important things that they've done?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a great group. We've been at it for 4, 5, 6 months, and it's folks like Stephanie Scruggs from Scruggs Lumber, Carlos Graham, who was previously on the city council and is employed over at Lincoln University, Gary Kemker, who many may know from the American Legion, but Gary was a previous police chief in Jefferson City, Ken Theroff from over at Jefferson Bank, and then Jake Vogel, of course, from Coca-Cola, and then myself made up that committee with some help from our friends at the Jefferson City FOP and the Firefighters Union here in Jefferson City as well.
That's outstanding, and I know that the mayor is backing things, as well as the council, as well as I know the Jefferson City Area Chamber of Commerce, they're backing this. So it's what the city needs, and so we just encourage people to get out there and show the support for this, because it's an important thing for the health and safety of our community. And we want to thank you for all the work that you've done on this.
Well, thank you guys. Appreciate it. It's been a fun evening.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you have a good night, and we're just going to be believing for success tomorrow.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Donnell. Have a great night. All right, Jay, what a great interview. That is a neat man right there.
Yeah, and I just think it's super cool when you kind of get to hear the back door, of how some of these policies and initiatives get started. I find that unique, and so to hear how these people just came together and they found that need, and it was something that they were able to get to be able to put to a vote.
Yeah.
I think that's super cool. It's fun to hear about how all of that happens, and I think you guys have said it enough, but the public safety aspect of it, it's huge.
Yeah.
The fact that it'll help get body cams, I think that's amazing. And then to help retain fire department and police staff, I
Yeah.
think that's super important, because the longer you can have the people there and retained in this community, just it makes a major difference. And so this is a very important initiative, and I hope the people go out there and vote and let your voices be heard. Vote. And so that's something that I know all of the board members would say they just want people to go out and vote. And so you heard it here from Sports Locker. Go out and vote.
That's
Come on.
right.
This is
And I want to just,
important.
and I just want to add, growing up, your parents would say, "Because I said so," right? Remember that? Well, my sister, she just says, "Our public servants need to be paid better." And I'm just going to add, "Because she said so." So there you go.
She said so.
All right. Well, why don't you go ahead and close us out?
Yeah. Well, hey, this was a great time. This was a great episode. We really appreciate Sports Locker Nation. You guys tuning in, commenting on the show, liking it, sharing it. Because of you guys, we get to keep doing this every week, and it brings Dad and I a lot of joy to come on here and bring you guys amazing guests, people like Donnell Rehagen. So thank you all so much for tuning in tonight. Please keep liking, commenting, sharing our posts. That way we can keep reaching as many people as possible. And we'll keep you up to date on local sports, and we'll keep bringing you guys awesome people that we get to sit down and talk with every week. So it's a pleasure for us, and we absolutely love it. This is One Nation, a Sports Locker magazine extra. And I'm your co-host, Jay Gill. Thank you guys so much. God bless.
God bless you. Have a great evening.